Happy August. Yeah, it's August already and the box is on its way to you and it should be going through your letterboxes any day now. Hopefully today, might be tomorrow, who knows. But they're on their way and I'm very, very excited about August. It is a gorgeous box this month full of lots of lovely goodies. So let's chat through what's included and talk through each of the varieties, and there will be a how to sew video coming shortly as well. Obviously, if you want to keep it a surprise, then keep it a surprise and don't carry on watching because I'm about to, spoiler alert, ruin what's inside. So, as always, you get your fantastic August monthly update. So things keep you busy this month in August. So obviously August, middle of summer, towards the end of summer, I guess. And there are so many things that are putting on a late show. Often the wildlife is bursting in your garden, so hopefully you've got lots of birds, lots of different things coming into your garden and enjoying it with you as well. Bees, insects and stuff. It's a brilliant time to see all the flowers and the bees enjoying them. But it has been very, very, very dry, like uncharacteristically dry over the last few months. And I was chatting to behind the scenes bear of my mum, and she said that we've had the least amount of rainfall, and last year when we had flash floods we had more rain in that one day than we've had in the whole year. So the garden is really, really dry. If you don't have a hose pipe ban, then get out with your hose and just start to water things, particularly things like camellias and rhododendrons, because they form their flowers and start forming their buds at this time of year. So if you don't water them now, then you will have worse flowers next year, so get watering those. Anyway, we want to keep deadheading things like dahlias, roses if they're having a second flush, cosmos. You get out there with your little deadheading snips and then make sure that you're deadheading any flowers so that things don't go to seed and instead the energy goes into producing more flowers, which is what we want. Keep camellias and rhododendrons well watered. It's really important because this is the time their flower buds are forming, so just mentioned that. I trim my lavenders in late August, early September. I try and leave them for as long as possible for the bees. I really love the effect of them, but they do start to look a bit crispy, and to be honest they're looking really crispy now and it's start of August, so I might do that a little bit earlier this year, just to keep the garden looking tidy and to stop them from getting too woody. By trimming the lavender, sometimes it feels a bit brutal, but it keeps them in compact shape. I don't know if you've seen lots of lavender and it can get really big and really woody, and it doesn't look good, so you want to keep it nice and compact. The main thing to remember is to not cut into old wood. You want to keep it the nice fresh new growth that you cut into, to keep it that round shape. If you cut into the deep kind of thick wood right at the bottom of lavender, you'll kill it off. Now is a really good time to start to prune rambling roses, so remove up to 1/3 of the stems that have flowered and tie the rest to support. It can seem really scary cutting it back. I know pruning generally does feel quite scary if you're not 100% sure what you're doing, but it will ensure that you have lots of flowers next year. So again, lots of videos coming on this. Keep pots and hanging baskets flowering by watering and deadheading regularly. So any kind of bedding plants that you've got, make sure that you're keeping them deadheaded. Water them really well and then feed them. So it's always important when you're feeding your plants to water them first, because if not, all the feed just runs out. So you want to water them, get them all kind of soaked up, and then the feed goes in on top. And at this time of year we do tomato feed, which is high in phosphorus, which encourages lots of healthy establishment of flowers. But any tomato food will be absolutely fine. You can take cuttings of woody herbs like lavender by choosing non-flowering shoots. I'm not going to do that this year because I've got so much lavender and we've grown some from seed as well, so you probably won't need to do that if you've been a subscriber earlier in the year. We can sow hardy annuals in sunny spots to provide early summer colour next year. If you're signed up to my monthly subscription box, you'll have plenty of these for colour next year. So this box this month is full of seeds that will flower next year. There is absolutely no rush to sow your seeds this month. If anything, they're actually better off done a little bit later in the season. So I will be sowing mine a little bit later this month. Then you can cut back, trim or mow any areas of wildflower meadow. So if you had a wildflower pack, now is the time to cut them back. And now that the plants have scattered their seeds ready for display next year. So if you have wildflower seeds, which you may do, now's a good time to sow them. Remove any spent hardy annuals if you don't want them to self-seed. So this isn't a hardy annual, but something like candy tuft will start to kind of form seeds. So if you don't want anything to self-seed, then get rid of it once it's finished flowering. And then have fun in your garden this summer. Enjoy spending time in it and continue to take photos so you can look back on all the colour in winter. Now, one thing I always wish I'd done is take more photos in the garden when it's completely bare and completely bleak in like January time and there's nothing kind of there in your garden, unless you've got lots of winter structure, which hopefully you will do. But generally, there's not many flowers about. So make sure you take lots of photos because you will enjoy looking back at them and making plans for next year. So there's the leaflet for August. And these will be changing slightly in October with all of the changes that are happening with the subscription box. There'll be lots more information on these coming. There's a reminder to pre-order your bulbs. So again, things like tulips, daffodils, muscari, hyacinths and so much more. We plant them in September, October, November, and then they flower in spring the following year. There are bulbs coming in your October and November boxes, but really you want to get hold of lots because you can never have too many bulbs. And I'm not just saying that because I sell bulbs, but genuinely they bring me so much joy when they flower in spring. So I will put some sneak peeks online so you can see what bulbs I've got planned, but none of the bulbs online on my web shop are in the subscription. Everything in the subscription is completely exclusive to you guys, and those varieties are. So if you want to have some gorgeous bulbs, then either stay signed up to the subscription box and enjoy them and add some extras, or you can just add lots from the basket. The other thing that's included in the August box is a letter, if you've been a current subscriber before, a letter all about the price changes and all of the new things that are coming from October onwards. So have a read of that, and there's another video, it's quite a long one, but another video all about what the changes are, and so I'm not going to go into that in this video because hopefully you've watched it. Then we've got our lovely gorgeous little wrapped up packet. Now anything you order from my website is wrapped in tissue paper and we'll seal with a sticker. So this one says making gardening modern, fun and easy, which is what the Rose Press Garden is all about. And then obviously there are some gorgeous seeds in here. So like I mentioned, we open the box and then you can sow them straight away, but ideally leave it towards the end of the month, so it's something to look forward to. I'm trying to open this tissue paper without making lots of noise for you if you're listening. And there will be a slight change between some of the boxes because lots of you are signing up, so we just wanted to make sure that there was enough seeds that wasn't duplicates. So this month there's a really gorgeous mix of flowers and plants. So you'll obviously get all of your flower seeds, so I'll put them to one side for a second, and then we've got all of the gorgeous leaflets as well. So one of the ones I'm really excited about is cornflower blackball, which some of you may have bought on my web shop earlier this year, but obviously they're now going to finish and we want to have lots of flowers for next year. And because they're hardy annuals, it means that we can sow them this late August, September, October time for flowers the following year. Now cornflowers you can just direct sow in the spring, but they are much stronger and they can grow up to like a metre high if you grow them nice and early. So this one is dark and sexy. This gorgeous cornflower variety is a deep and mysterious colour that almost looks black on cloudy days, but really it's like a deep burgundy colour, really nice, and that kind of pinky tone suits everything else that we've got in our subscription boxes. And whilst I didn't grow a lot of deeper colours last year, I've been totally persuaded to add more depth into my borders, and by adding this extra darkness into the borders it really makes the lighter pinks and purples really shine. And I'm really excited to grow this. Amazing for pollinators and wildlife, great for cutting and bouquets, as well as edible. So the cornflowers you can pop into salads, in cocktails, in ice cubes, etc., as long as you don't spray any nasties on it, which I'm sure none of you will. They're really simple to grow. Either start off in autumn and keep under cover over winter, or start in early spring in trays and plant out in April, May, or you can direct sow them. So if you are moving house or you're not quite sure where to put them, you can just save them and do them another time. But if you want to grow along over autumn, then this is a brilliant one for you. Next up we've got larkspur. So larkspur is just a beautiful plant. It is one of those ones that likes to be in the freezer, so we'll do that. You can either sow it inside, or you can in early spring, or you can direct sow in late August and September. So I'm going to direct sow larkspur, and actually I had more success from my direct sown ones than the other ones, so I'd highly recommend direct sowing it. And in the spring we put them in the freezer to mimic being in winter, but obviously we don't need to do that because the larkspur is going to go through winter, because it's going to be direct sown into our borders, have that cold and hot fluctuating temperatures, and that will really kickstart them when it comes to spring. It's amazing how seeds know when it's spring, and trees are the same. They know exactly what season it is. They're very, very clever indeed. We've got the traditional and the classic wildflower mix. I did include this in the box last August, but then there probably won't be a wildflower mix again in the subscription for years. So this is the last chance to add some wildflowers to your garden. It's something I absolutely love. I grew mine in a pot because there's slightly different colours on the wildflower mix, a little bit brighter than usual. So you could grow this in a pot or a tub or a container, and they look really, really pretty, but they're not only that, they're amazing for pollinators, amazing for insects, shelter and places for other animals and insects to breed, and then the pollinators return the favour by transferring the pollen, enabling the wildflowers to develop seeds that produce more flowers. So if you can just spare a pot, a tub or 1 metre in your garden for a wildflower mix, it will really make a difference to your garden. Wildflower mixes, again, can be sown any time of year, so there's no rush to sow these straight away. Again, if you're moving, or you can take these and they can be sown in March next year as well. So generally they do best in March and April or August, and into the start of September. They prefer less fertile areas, so you don't want to be mulching and adding lots of goodness to the soil in the wildflower areas. And if you have anywhere that's like rubbly or sandy and dry, they will absolutely thrive there. Love wildflowers. We all need to put more in our gardens. Next up is scabious, and it's a gorgeous lavender scabious, and these are called pincushion flowers because they have these tiny little bits coming out of their flowers that look like little pins on a cushion. They are gorgeous, and this is a stunning lilac colour. It's the most pretty scabious I've ever seen, and it's brilliant for cottage style borders, which is generally what the subscription does, and amazing display, loved by pollinators and brilliant for cutting. Scabious have the longest vase life ever, so these are worth growing early because you get so many flowers per plant, and they're just generally pretty damn gorgeous. So we will start them off in compost or trays, in pots, and leave them in a sunny place, or start to put them towards the end of the month, start to put them inside a mini greenhouse, keep the doors open at the moment, and then we will carry on looking after them under cover over winter, and then we can plant them out in spring once the frosts have passed. So scabious are just a brilliant one for the garden. They're really impactful. Now the last one in this box, and some of you may not have this if you've signed up a bit later to the box, but if you've signed up and you've renewed on the 1st or 2nd of the month, then you will have Eryngium planum, which is a stunning blue coloured plant with sculpted heads in a gorgeous grey or rich royal blue, hard to beat and loved by pollinators. I'm going to put the image up. So it's that gorgeous, really kind of structural plant, and it does really well at this time of year. So it's really good once everything's gone in spring and early summer, kind of the roses and the sweet peas and all that sort of stuff starts to get a bit crispy and dry. This really comes into its own, and again, amazing for pollinators. So we really want to have stuff in our garden that's beautiful and creates a beautiful garden, but it's also great for pollinators as well. And you don't have to have a wildlife garden to be great for animals and wildlife. You can just create a beautiful garden, and by putting lovely things in like this that look beautiful, you can still encourage lots of lovely things, which is nice. So this one you can direct sow straight into borders. It does take a while to germinate, and then it does take a while to get established, but I have some in my garden which I'll show you, which I grew from seed, and they are fantastic. And once you get it, you can then divide the plants and pop them everywhere, so it's a perennial that will come back year after year. So that's what's in the box. If you're signing up a bit later and you didn't get a loop in the boxes last month, then you might get a loop in, just so that you have a nice range of different things in the box and you don't miss out on those. And also there are some nigellas as well. If anyone is completely new and has not grown nigella before, then it's a really good one to pop in the box, a plain blue one. And then next month in September, it's another set of autumn sowing seeds, but this time it is things like, and spoiler alert, if you don't want to know, then skip this bit, but it is going to be sweet peas, a really funky nigella, Orlea, which is a beautiful plant, and everyone should have in your garden. It's stunning. Everyone loved it this year. And a few other bits and pieces that I can't remember right now, but they are gorgeous, and I'm really excited. And I think the September box is probably my favourite seed box that I've ever seen, so I'm really excited. Some really pretty varieties. And then in October you'll get your bulbs, November you'll get your bulbs, and then it gets very exciting from then on, so I won't share anything now, but there'll be sneak peeks online. I hope you enjoy your August box. Have fun doing all your jobs and sowing the seeds, and I will pop up the actual how-to video to sow along in real time, and I'll do an Instagram live this month, as towards the end of the month, this month too. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy opening your August box, and yeah, speak to you all soon.